Thank you for watching the TDC Hot Rods YouTube channel.
In this video, this awesome little 29 Roadster pickup gets a brand new Blueprint race engines.
All right, here's the fun project. So I could be a little wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's a 1929 Roadster pickup. It is a super sweet little truck. Definitely my dad's favorite color. He loves himself some bright yellow, but it's a sweet, clean, I would say like a 80s style build. I would think it's probably an 80s style. But what we got going on here is it's got a small block Chevy in it that has been ran hard quite a few times. So we got to get this thing jacked up and get the engine pulled out of it, because the owner had shipped me a blueprint race engine. So it is just a 350, but I'll pull the pull the dyno sheet out when I get it in here. But I think it makes plenty of power to scoot this truck along real nice. So the plan is to get this thing jacked up, get the headlights off of it and the radiator shroud, and then I'll just come in here and pull the alternator and the headers, and it should be a fairly simple swap. The biggest concern is the water pumps are different than what come on the Blueprint engine, and the Blueprint engine came with a HEI style distributor and not this small compact one, and the owner would like to keep the Blueprint engine exactly like it is. So it's fully tuned and broken and everything. So he'd like to be able to just set it in there. We may have to put this distributor on it, but if the other one will clear, that'll be amazing. So yeah, anyways, I'm super stoked. It's such a sweet little truck. It reminds me of definitely going to car shows back in the day. Not that I'm that old, but I feel like it. Anyways, so I'm gonna get this thing jacked up and we're gonna get to pulling this baby all apart. Well, to be completely honest, it wasn't quite that easy. I thought I knew how to work on these things real well, but getting these bolts out, the radiator support, kind of kicked my butt. But hey, now I know. And we spent some time trying to find the proper water pump for it. But I'm 99% sure we got one, so it's on its way. So now I am gonna come in here, and this fuel that is in this thing, it's got a fuel leak here and around this gasket down there, and it is hurting my head. So I'm gonna do this line, plug that line off, and get this fuel system off of here so I don't have to smell it anymore. But next operation of business will be pulling the alternator, the headers, the bell housing, and the motor mount and the starter, and this thing will be ready to come out. It should come out very easy. And I also just realized those jack stands might be in my way, but that's all right. I'll get them figured out. But yeah, simple. Under the radiator, headers, bell housing, starter, alternator, header on this side, a tiny bit of wiring, and this pretty gal should be ready to come on out. Super stoked. And then we gotta bring the brand new pallet from Blueprint race engines in here, which is always exciting for me. Brand new stuff is always fun. Whether it's my brand new stuff or customers, it's still Christmas. So anyways, I'm gonna get back to it. Well, I got everything undone except for that fuel line. I decided to wait until I was to pull the engine out to actually pull the fuel system off. But everything else is all undone. Headers, bell housing, torque converter, starter, motor mounts, the whole shebang. All the wiring's undone, everything. It's just sitting there. So I misplaced my plate that I usually bolt right there to pull these engines out. I don't know where I put it. So I'm gonna see if I can find a chain or something, and then go grab the other engine for this thing so I can show you guys. Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna pull this thing out real fast and go grab another engine because it's super pretty. That out. Blueprint. Super excited about this. Look at that pretty thing. So, it's a small block Chevy, just 350. And it's already been ran on dyno through Blueprint, which is super awesome. And this thing, I don't know, let me stand back. I don't know what this thing weighs. It's got some fiberglass on it, like some of the fenders are fiberglass, the the steps aren't. But there's no weight there. That's what I'm getting at. This thing probably weighs 2,500 pounds probably. And this engine made 346 horsepower, 396 foot-pounds. It's got Blueprint's aluminum heads on it, and they're block. It's got a Holly on it. And this thing is ready to go. Fuel pump, carburetor, oil pan, everything from air filter to oil pan. This thing is ready to rip. So I just got to pull it out, take the SPI flex plate off of there, put on here, and I have a water pump for it. I finally found the correct water pump. Yeah, and this is gonna go in there. Super excited. So this thing has about a bajillion staples holding this box together. I was hoping to be able to save this crate, but I don't think that's gonna happen, so I'm gonna see if I can get it apart. All right, so after doing a bunch of looking, I realized a couple of things. For one, the flywheel that is on the flex plate that's on the back of this engine will not work on the Blueprint engine. So tomorrow I'm gonna have to call Blueprint and figure out what flex plate I need to get for that. And then I also realized that the clocking, this is the bottom of the fuel pump here. So the clocking on it was very wrong. It put the outlet like right here, which is definitely not going to work. It was literally, I had to pull the housing off to get the engine to even sit in here. And my biggest concern of them all, like I mentioned earlier, was the gap between the distributor and the firewall. And luckily, it fits perfect. It fits fantastic. So super happy about that. There's still enough space that if there's ever an issue later, they can pull the distributor cap on and off. I won't have to touch it, which I'm super happy about. What else was there? Oh, and the biggest thing that I have fought on this was trying to find the proper water pump. It wasn't a typical shallow water pump. it definitely wasn't a deep one like what come with it. Well, finally, after talking to quite a few different people, we figured it out. So this is the factory one that was on, this is the one that was on the engine, and it's an Elbrock. Yes, there's a part number on the back. We still couldn't find anything exactly quite the same until my brother found this. And this is a like 57 Corvette water pump, which is the same height here, and you can see the difference compared to the one that come on the Blueprint engine. Big difference there. So now I am just trying to swap over, put the plug in here like this one. This is the temp sensor. I'm gonna clean that all up so it doesn't look so nasty, clean up all the bolt threads, and then I can go ahead and put the water pump on it. I did swap over the pulley. I'm gonna have to swap over the thermostat housing, and I think that's about it. So the only thing that I actually need to get is I need to get a 90-degree fitting for right here for the fuel to come into the fuel pump, and then that can be bolted back on, and I need a flex plate. So yes, the engine will have to come back out, but not a big deal. It literally took me just a couple of minutes to set it in here. Well, not quite, but that's a little exaggerating. But anyways, it didn't take too long. So yeah, I am going to I'm gonna go to bed because it's late. It's very dark outside, and this heater keeps kicking on about every 30 seconds, which means it must be getting cold out there. So I'm gonna finish up this water pump, and then you guys will see me after I get some parts for this thing, because yeah, I am super excited to hear it run and actually be able to drive it. But yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Alrighty, so a few days later, we got a flex plate, finally showed up. But in the meantime, while I was waiting for flex plate and water pump, I went ahead and put the pulleys on here and swapped over temp sensor, thermostat housing, and on the old engine, excuse me, bud, my boy's here helping me. We're gonna set the engine in. He's gonna give me a hand. The oil pressure sensor was right here, which honestly, I've never seen anybody put them there before. So I put it in the old school original location where they come factory. Plus, you can't see it as much back there, which is nice. The only downfall to that was I had to change some of this wiring. So like, here's the wire to housing, to the oil pressure. And what else did I do? Oh, fuel pump. I got the fuel pump clocked and modified so then it will work, because at first it wasn't going to work. It was hitting the chassis right here where you can see it's had some issues before, or maybe not. Maybe that's just the hose wearing. I don't know. But yeah, anyway, so I'm pretty sure I got everything I need on here. So it is time to set it back in there. So that's what we're going to do now, and then I can go ahead and button up the rest of all the little stuff and hear this thing run, because we're going to hear it run and take it for a drive in this video. So yeah, you excited to help me?
Yes.
Okay, let's get to it. Thanks to my little buddy, he helped me put this thing in there, and I got to do it twice actually. only seen it once, but I get it in there, get the bell housing done up, get the motor mounts on, and I look down because I was going to pull the spark plugs off to put the headers on, and I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot to put the headers on when I set the engine in. So luckily, that actual act of setting the engine in and out is the easiest part. So here we are. I pulled it out, slipped the headers in, slipped it back in there. So far, I got the headers on, I got all bell housing all done up, torque converter, the inspection plate, the starters in, what else did I do? I think that's it. So now what I need to do is I need to reroute this fuel line to fit in the new location. So the old location's there, and the new one is right here, along with tightening up this bolt. I still got both of those to do. But the new location's right where my finger is, and that's the old location. So I need to reroute that, and now that I'm looking at it, I should have done that before I put the header on. But there we are. What else have I done? Oh, I need to swap over the pins for the carburetor, the eyelets for the carburetor, for the throttle and the kickdown. So alternator and a little bit of wiring, just a couple of wires, super simple, nothing complicated at all. And then I'll get the radiator shroud put on, tranny cooler lines, radiator hoses, all the simple stuff. And then the most exciting part of the whole thing is we're gonna fire this thing up and hear it run. I don't have the and they're just straight, it's just straight headers right now. I don't have the rest of the exhaust on it because I ordered some new collector gaskets and they won't be here till tomorrow. They were ordered at the same time as everything else, not everything else, but some of it, but they won't be here tomorrow, so that's all right. We can still fire it up. It'll be really loud, but we can at least hear it run, which will be super awesome. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and keep buttoning all this stuff up and get back to it. All right, so I got everything together. I turned the motor over a bunch to get some oil pressure and fuel to the car. Made sure I had oil pressure at cranking. Everything is on it, ready to go, except for the exhaust. The exhaust is still sitting here hanging because I don't have the collector gaskets for it yet, but everything else is ready to go. Should fire right up. This engine's already been fired up and broken at Blueprint. I haven't touched the timing, I haven't touched the carburetor, nothing. So in theory, it has fuel in the car. This thing should fire right up. So I'm excited. Let's see how it goes. All right, make sure this thing's in park. Start like that because it's already been ran, but I don't know how long ago that was. Shoot, that could have been a year ago. I don't know when Blueprint built the engine, but that is super exciting. I got cold chills. Super awesome. Yeah, anyways, I'm gonna go figure out where these darn collector gaskets are. It's been a couple of days, so I want to put some collector gaskets on it, get this thing lowered down, and top off the antifreeze, make sure everything's really good.
And then we go take it for a drive and double check the tranny fluid and
there we go. This beautiful girl is all ready to go. Customer is on his way to come pick it up. The engine is doing phenomenal. He's just got to do a little break-in period on it and a little bit of maintenance stuff he's got to do, but that's not anything that he won't be able to handle. Super fun project. Beautiful little truck. We got her all polished up for him the best that we could. Like I said, I'm pretty sure this thing was built back in like the 80s, early 90s, and it is in beautiful shape for that. And let's look. I don't remember exactly how many miles it said it had on it. Yeah, 20,000. So a truck like this normally only gets driven 500 miles a year, so I guess that adds up pretty fast. But yeah, I think it's still in pretty good shape. But super fun project. Just gotta say thanks for the owner for even letting me video this process and even work on his awesome little roadster pickup. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.